Are you guys struggling to sell really young clients mortgage protection policies? If you are, stay tuned. We're going to run through it. All right, guys, I'm going to run through today how to sell really young mortgage protection clients. For me, I'm talking, someone maybe early to mid 20s. It's more of a maturity thing than it is an age thing for me. If you've been out there running mortgage leads, you certainly come across those clients that, like, I always say, like, they just got done drinking some beers and smoking some weed with their buddies before you walked in, and they don't really want the insurance guy there. They're ready to keep it moving. I struggled selling these clients, and if I got 10 of these, I'd be lucky to sell one, maybe two. And what I got a lot for objections was like, I thought I had to fill it out. Let me check with my parents was a big one. Certainly I got the can't afford it or not interested type things as well. But those were the two big ones for me, is I thought I had to, and let me check with my parents. And I started trying to come up with a way that I could sell these clients a little differently. And I found it really uncomfortable when I tried to go through the traditional why, like what would happen if you died, where would you go, yada, yada. Because the reality is they didn't really believe they were going to die. And if they did, they were like, I'll just move in with my parents. It didn't seem like crazy urgent when I was trying to do it the traditional way I would if I was sitting with, I don't know, 40-year-old couple with 2 kids. It didn't vibe for me. So I realized when a majority of them started saying, like, I thought I had to fill it out, that I wouldn't make it like they did have to, but I realized, like, they just didn't understand how this thing works, and I wasn't going to ask a lot of questions, because that was a big thing too. I thought I had to fill it out. I didn't really understand how this works. So I decided I was just going to assume that they didn't understand how it was going to work, and I was going to tell them how the day was going to go, how this appointment was going to work, how the protection was going to work. I was just going to tell them and forget asking questions. I was just going to go like, here it is, here's your options, yes or no. And it started working really well for me. So the intro for me, again, certainly I get to the house. My level of rapport building here is very short because their attention span is short. It's like, hey, did you just move in, I assume? Yep. How long you been here? First house? Yep. Literally walking to the table. The second I sit down, I go, hey, do you know how this works? They will almost all say no, almost all of them. I think I had one ever say yes because they had already had some coverage, and it was bad coverage, so we ended up getting them a better deal. But they go, no, I don't know how it works. I go, all right, got it. It's pretty simple. I'm going to explain it to you. Do you have a 30-year mortgage? They mostly say yes. I go, all right, the way this plan is built is to make sure that if you drop dead, and I use a little bit more direct words in this demographic for sure. The way this plan works is if you drop dead anytime in the next 30 years, your home will be paid for. So, and now if it's a couple, I go, so she doesn't get stuck with her, get kicked out of the house. If it's just a single guy, for instance, I might go, it's designed to make sure in the next 30 years, if you die, the house is paid for. I go, who would be responsible if you died? Your parents? They'll all say yes. I go, so your parents don't get stuck with your house too. Does that make sense? Yes. The way it's probably going to work is the way we're going to set up the plan is actually going to be a 25-year plan. Whereas if you die in the first 25 years, is the way I like to set it up. If you die in the first 25 years, I know we have a 30-year mortgage, but if you die in the first 25 years, the house will be paid for. And if you live 25 years from now, that'll put you at 47. You'll actually get back the entire premium that you paid in, and you can use that money to pay your house off 5 years early. Does that make sense? They say yes. And I go, all right, got it. So I'm going to basically show you some options. It's really simple. I'm going to show you 2 options. One's going to be to cover it for 30 years. One's going to be to cover it for 25 years with all your money back. And you're going to pick which one works for you, and we're going to get it set up for you today. Does that make sense? Again, they say yes for the most part. If they say no, I'm good. If they're arguing, if they're very like, I have to check with my parents first. Like if it starts going down that road early, I just leave. Because again, I know a couple of them are going to do that, but I can get 70-80% of these sold pretty simply just by going with a 25-year cash back, asking if they know how it works, them saying no, me explaining it. And I like that product, and almost all of them are eligible for it health-wise. So I don't really have to ask many health questions up front. I just get to sell that concept. They buy in on that concept. It's pretty quick. And then I just got into pricing. And I did it by flipping the lead over, and I'd show the pricing, and I go, all right, 100 grand in coverage for 30 years is whatever, 42 bucks. And then I can go $100,000 in coverage for 25 years. It'd be 80 bucks a month, and you'll get back 25 grand, whatever the numbers were. I did the math. If I did the math wrong off the top of my head, I apologize. But I would do the math, and I would write it out. And, all right, and I'd flip it over and go, here's your options. 100 grand, 40 something bucks. At the end, you get no money back. 100 grand, 82 bucks. You get 25 grand back. Use that to pay the house off early. Which one do you want to go with? Most all of them pick the cash back. And I go, makes sense. That's what everyone picks. I don't know why they make me show you the other one. Can you grab me your driver's license? And that was really it. Sometimes they would ask, do I have to do this today? And my answer would be simply, yes, if you want your mortgage covered and the house paid off 5 years early. Can you grab me your driver's license? And they almost always would fall through